What is a Scrum Master? So in Scrum, we have one person who is really in charge to make sure Scrum is established correctly within the organization. The developers in the team can work right, can deliver working product increment every sprint, and they also would collaborate with the product owner and help him or her to be successful in identifying what is the best value and collaborate with the stakeholders and so on. So the Scrum Master is really the person to make sure that the Scrum values are embraced and again, Scrum happens as intended. And what we often see is that a Scrum Master is often misunderstood sometimes as a clerk, like it's the person, I don't know, booking the rooms, administrating Jira and things like that. But there's much more to it. And you can find all of those informations in the Scrum Guide. But also sometimes the Scrum Master is confused with a project manager. And I sometimes even see like job advertising. So we are looking for a Scrum Master, and you just look at the text and somebody went through the effort about replacing project manager with Scrum Master. They didn't really understand what Scrum is all about. Because a project manager in a classical environment is in charge for scope, schedule, and budget. And that's a conflict of interest. Because if you want that, the other thing has to be flexible. And if you want this, then the other thing has to be flexible. So out of this triangle, you can choose two corners, the third has to give. And a classical project manager sits on all three corners. You have to deliver on time, on budget, on scope. And the project gets so much dynamic on its own that it becomes more important to deliver on time, on scope, on budget than to deliver the right outcome for your end users. And this is where I see in Scrum, we have like a separation of power, like in a democracy where we have a legislative, judiciary, and executive. So we say scope and schedule remains with the product owner, who is in charge about what makes the most value to be delivered at which point in time. And with the budget, I also see it, this is mostly the people doing the work, the highest cost factor, which are the developers. So essentially the Scrum Master helps to protect the developers so that they can do professional work. And often we talk about at Scrum, they talk about professional Scrum. So there's Scrum, where you follow the rules and everything is correct. And then there's professional Scrum, which means there's work ethics being part of that as well. There are certain things you do and other things you don't do. Never. There's no excuse. So, and as a professional developer, you would always create high quality product with good testing in place, good documentation in place, and whatever else is needed according to your definition of done. Now, and this is then basically ensured by the Scrum Master, protecting the developers that if there's pressure from outside, they can always still work professional and deliver a high quality product. Now, if you look at that, this is as a Scrum Master, it's a very versatile and very demanding job. And on the other hand, you're actually standing more behind the curtain. But as a Scrum Master, you're the person behind all of that, making sure everything works correctly and we deliver the value as planned.